Today is a day of celebration. We celebrate the National Teachers' Day in India. We celebrate India landing a rover on the moon. We celebrate this Peace Dome for what it stands for. And the great leaders whose statue is in this dome that have made a significant impact in world history. But today we also celebrate the life of a man that is greater than life, and that's Dr. Vishwanath Karad. We celebrate him not just with a statue, but for what it stands. We celebrate his vision, and we celebrate his acting on his vision. But to me, I also want to celebrate something that is in the heart of Dr. Karad. In the end, God will not judge us by structures or a bank account or our possessions, but what is in our heart. And what did we do to bless mankind? And that is why we celebrate today with a statue of Dr. Karad. This was not his idea to have a statue here. This idea germinated over 2 years ago, but it took a lot of effort to convince first Rahul Karad, Ashok and I, we would not give up. And then Dr. Karad had to be convinced. But we are grateful that he is giving us this opportunity, all of us, to celebrate his life and for what it stands for. I am an engineer. I design and build large projects on 4 continents. The tallest building that I helped to design and build is 150 feet. This dome is 263 feet tall. Now, as an engineer, we have to prepare lots of drawings and calculations to build any project. Can you imagine how many drawings and calculations were required to build this Peace Dome without any interior support? It started on one piece of paper. Dr. Karad drew a circle, and that's all. But the rest of it was in his mind and in his heart. And it is unparalleled of its kind anywhere in the world. I think, Dr. Karad, I would like you to come and help me in my business to design amazing structures. But there is a big difference between what he created and what most engineers and architects would create. Dr. Karad was on a divine mission. He was guided by God to implement his vision. He also is a unique individual who embraces the good in science, math, medicine, religion. And that's why his motto is the union of science and spirituality will lead to peace for all mankind. Dr. Karad is guided by the Spirit. We believe that the body and our spirit constitutes our soul, our Atma. And that is the basis of the foundation of MIT WPU. Spirituality is a very important component of Dr. Karad's life, his example, and his teachings. He also has no barriers. Most of us like to judge very easily. Dr. Karad sees people differently. I'm old enough to realize that's how God sees us, not as man sees us. Irrespective of our background, our culture, our religion, color of our skin. He sees us as children of God. And you saw, just as an example today, he had leaders from so many religions come and offer blessing just on today's event. That makes him a very unique individual. We also believe, as part of our tenets, that we claim the privilege of worshiping God according to the dictates of our own conscience and allow all men, all men the same privilege. Let them worship how, where, or what they may. Well, this is a living example. It's a laboratory to celebrate that kind of freedom, not just in body, but of our spirit. One of the important events that is going to start this evening in this very Peace Dome is the G20 Interfaith Summit. As you know, India is hosting the G20 Summit for the first time, and the Peace Dome is hosting the Interfaith Summit for the G20 Summit. That is very historical. And Cole Durham, the president of the Interfaith Forum of G20, had to work hard to make it happen. But again, we would not give up. Well, Dr. Karad, there is much being said about you, but there's so much more that you are. God knows, you know, and many that love you know the kind of individual you are. I would express a prayer of blessing of peace and health as you continue to devote your life on the divine path that God has put you on. And before I sit down, I've been given a note to express thanks to Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, for his leadership in now running a global conference in India. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give a